It's time to rev your engines. The Syracuse Nationals proudly presents the Cavalcade of Cars, March 22nd through 23rd at the New York State Fairgrounds. The two-day indoor car show features all the classics, plus lifted trucks, Jeeps, motorcycles, and more. Cavalcade of Cars, CNY.com.
Edition of the Burdick Lexus Burdick BMW postgame show. We got Devo in the house, Eric Devendorf and Etan Thomas, who are doing a weekly radio show with us. They've moved it to postgame after a nice win, Devo, here tonight. The Orange, in a game that was a true must-win. They got the must-win they needed, won it from start to finish over NC State, in a convincing and somewhat boring basketball game. But hey, a boring win is something we've been waiting on this year, so we got one of those.
Yeah, I mean, well, they shot 60% from the field. 8 guys scored. They had 3 guys in double figures. And Eddie Lampkin, despite all the criticism that he's been getting, I just looked at his stats from the last 4 years. This is his best season, not by far, but percentage-wise, he's not shooting the best. He's shooting 57%, but his rebounds are up, his points are up, his assists are up. I mean, it was his 12th double-double of the season, and we just saw during the game that he's getting up there to have the record for Syracuse for most double-doubles in a season. I think it was O'Shea. Jesse was at 4.
Jesse was number 1 with 14. That was his 12th. So, yeah, I mean, he could realistically get there by the end of the year.
Yeah, he might, and I mean, I think he will. But, I mean, from all the criticism that he's been getting, look, he's done what he's capable of doing, all right, especially with the makeup of this team. I mean, I think he's had a really good year, and then we saw JJ late in the second half do his thing, but it was just a good overall team win for Cuse.
Yeah, 74-60 win here, so we're off and running on our post-game show. 315-437-7644 is the phone number to call. That's 4ESPN44. You can hop in the chat on QSportsTalk.com. I see people are already chatting away in there, and we will get you Adrian Autry's full post-game press conference as soon as he hits the podium. We'll bring that to you live in just a little bit. But, Etan, let's bring you in here and get your initial thoughts on this one, which was, as we were calling for it all week, this was a must-win game to feel a lot better about your chances of making the ACC tournament, and they came out and played after a week off, one of their better games of the year.
It was definitely a must-win game, and, it was just interesting seeing a lot of the comments, so I'll be interested to hear what the callers have to say, because so many people were writing them off to thinking that they was going to lose this game. You know what I mean? I mean, I just heard it, for the past few days that they're saying all the reasons why NC State was probably going to win. And I was like, and a lot of the questions were, are we going to give up as a team? Are we just going to mail it in and just think about, next year? And those topics kept coming up. And I was like, why do y'all think that? No, these guys have said repeatedly that they're not giving up, that they're not quitting, and that they're going to just keep pushing until the end. The coaches have reiterated that. You heard Coach Griff say over and over that that's what they're going to do. You heard Red say it. You heard the players say it post game. Nobody is thinking of giving up. So I was glad that they came in here and this was the outcome tonight, because I'd like to hear all the fans, and what they respond with today after this type of an effort.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Etan, we seem to never really get the callers we do after a win like this. I'm sure if they had lost, the phone lines would already be jammed right now, but that's usually how it goes. I agree with him, though. I don't think effort has been a problem with this team all year. And even just being at some of the practices that I've seen this year, they play hard for Red in practice, and this team is still bought in. And also, it's still a lot of guys that are in jeopardy of their college careers coming to an end soon here. So a guy like Eddie Lampkin, who we're giving him his flowers, 14 points, 15 rebounds tonight, he doesn't know how much longer he's got in his college career. This is it. Same with Jair Davis, who played pretty well tonight.
Yeah, and I think, and another thing that maybe guys are thinking about with the era of the NIL, like they want to play good to get more money. What I mean? So, and look, these guys, they have pride too. They're not just going to go out there and give up. This is nationally televised. People are watching. Their families are watching. I'm sure they're talking about it, texting about all that. These guys are going to go out and give effort. I mean, for the fans to say that they're going to lay down and not play hard, it's ridiculous, just to tell you the truth. So these guys are going to continue to go out. They're continuing to give effort, and tonight they played well as a team. Like I said, there was 8 of the 9 guys that played scored the basketball. They moved it well. JJ had some good moves individually, and again, you can't say enough about Eddie Lampkin. Just playing how he plays, right? He was a bully down low. One of those plays, he just took it and really put Huntley Hatfield inside of the rim on one of those plays. 15 rebounds, 14 points. I thought he's having had a heck of a year so far.
Yeah, Starling had 15 of his 17 points in the second half. So let's hit an early timeout here on the postgame show because we want to make sure that we are back in time to give you the full postgame press conference from Adrian Autry, get his thoughts on this one, and then we'll keep it rolling here. We welcome your phone calls as well at 315-437-7644. We got Etan Thomas, Eric Devendorf, couple legends with us here on the postgame show after the Orange win it 74-60. And we're back after this on QSportsTalk.com and ESPN Radio.
Syracuse basketball head coach Adrian Autry joins Orange Nation every
All right.
I had to come here and watch the game because I don't get the ESPNU package, man.
Okay.
I think we should have him. You got to see.
Can you hear me?
You should be able to hear us. Can you hear us, see?
Yeah, I can hear you. Y'all can hear me?
Maybe he froze up. I don't know.
Did he?
Oh, I can hear you just fine.
See what the chat's got for us. He can hear us? I can't hear him. Oh, I have the cue down. That's why. Sorry. We figured it out.
Okay. User error.
Yeah. A lot going on in the studio.
Hey, I understand.
Yeah.
So what are they saying in the chat?
Yeah, we're looking at it. They're all saying we can hear a ton.
Oh, okay. All right.
Everyone can hear you but us.
Hold on.
How many fans announced?
I saw some of the pictures before the game
Didn't look
started.
great.
It was looking a little slim in there.
There was that banana section.
Slim Jim crowd tonight.
Yeah, it was a little slim.
Yeah, but honestly, man, it's crazy North Carolina State even beat Wake Forest because they're not.
Someone
good,
says Devo should be the next Jay Billis. So you got one fan in here at least.
I need that Jay Billis money.
Jay Billis money.
He's getting about $2 million doing that.
Ooh.
I bet, yeah. Why doesn't McLeod play more? He gave some decent minutes, but I mean,
I agree.
Eddie, we just talked about it. I mean, I don't think the center position was.
But, I like McLeod. I like what they was doing. I know he missed one of them, but I like the high pick and roll, and they throw it up to him. I think I saw, who was it, Carlos, that threw it to him, like, at his ankles. I was like, no, don't throw it at his ankles.
Yeah.
Throw it up to the big fella. But I like that play. That's what was working when they was playing Duke. I wish they would do that more. And then he was out there blocking shots, being a rim protector. I'm a fan. I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should be playing more. That's my opinion.
Well, they have no rim protection besides him, as we've said throughout the year. So he gives you. I just, I don't know if you play him more than like 15, 20 minutes, but he could give you that if he's playing well.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for a different look too. Even if you're gonna go zone real quick.
Super Cat says you're already making a bag calling games, Devo. Why would he want to do that? I don't know what they're talking about now. Why doesn't Devo get a bone thrown his way for being an announcer and get all the ESPN channels?
Oh, wow.
That is true. We got to get you a package.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, like you got to buy each ESPN channel. You're like, what? Come on, dude. I already went and got the ACC network, and then I'm like, oh, I don't even got ESPNU? What the heck? It's different now. Like all these, it's like, oh man.
Each game you got to look and see where it's being streamed at.
Right.
And I'm terrible at finding the streams.
Yeah, it usually takes a minute.
Like, I guess, can you do it on YouTube or something?
Nah,
You could get YouTube TV, but that's just separate. Like that's what I roll with at this point because there's
streaming is taking over. It's 9 different streamings that you could get. I do Spectrum. It's regular. I don't know.
Mike McAllister, you know him? He says, Devo, hit me up. I can help you. LOL.
Oh, okay,
he might
Mike,
have a connect.
Yeah. Mike brought his son to a few of the camps. So next time you bring your son to camp, you slip me that link.
Yeah, he's probably got someone.
Well, ever since I mentioned it, we've got a whole bunch of different options.
Yeah.
So
Funny how that works. All right, we're coming back. We'll go until red, and Jordan will text me, so I'll just cut you guys off if you're in the middle of a point. Hopefully not too rudely, but
just give us the sign. Like just
Syracuse. This is the Burdick Lexus and Burdick BMW postgame show.
rolling along with the postgame show after a win at home for the Orange. After a week off, they came out and thumped NC State basically from the outset. And we've got Red Autry at the podium right now. So as we welcome you back, let's go live to the Dome with Coach Autry.
Started when we got back. Once we set a reset button, started in practice. But again, I'm just very, very proud of this group. You know, they have no quit in them. And as a coach, you know, that's what you want. You know, again, we are still playing for us. Nobody else, right, but us and the people that support us, you know, the supporters. Again, just very proud of this team. And that's all I can say. I'm just, you know, again, we started the game and finished the game, you know, from beginning to end. I just thought we did a really good job defensively. You know, we 0 transition points, you know, 46 points in the paint. I thought we did. We took advantage of, you know, when we seen some opportunities and we stayed with it. And so I was just happy that we executed the game plan.
Questions? Adrian, just saying, you know, obviously you're playing for us, playing for the people that support you. You never trailed in this game. Just what you can say about the total team effort and playing for each other.
Just proud of them. And, you know, I thought they shared the ball. I thought they defended. I thought they communicated. You know, I thought we, you know, for the most part took care of the basketball and we got the ball where it needed to be. So I'm just proud of this group.
Coach, did you feel like there was a sense of urgency from you guys, especially the way you guys started the game? It was 13.
No, I think, you know, obviously we had a week off. You know, I thought we got refreshed. You know, we cleaned up some stuff. I thought we had some time to clean up some stuff. But again, these guys are competitors, and obviously we got a lot to play for.
You talk a lot about how you guys got to play consistently and play full 40 minutes. Do you feel like this is the closest you've gotten to that?
It is the closest. Obviously, we had a couple of things I would like to do better, but what coach doesn't, you know, want their team to play, you know, mistake-free basketball. But I thought today was the first game, you know, it's the closest we can get for the season that we, you know, from beginning to end, you know, we played well.
About the last 6, you've been giving up 80 points. Tonight you held a team to 60. What changed defensively?
They missed shots. You know, they missed shots. I thought they got some open looks. You know, and they missed shots. That happens, you know. But again, I thought we were still kind of where we needed to be. I think we got to do a better understanding when someone gets going, be able to close that airspace, you know, stick hand through the nose and make them put it down. And we talked about that. But overall, you know, I thought we, you know, we did a decent job, but they missed some shots.
Adrian, I have the other day about the ACC tournament. After you won this game, it's pretty likely that you'll play. Does it matter, Steve, or what does it mean to you?
You know, I think, you know, we talk about, you know, the 3 seasons, you know, and now, you know, obviously, you know, you never know what happens. We're going to finish this season out. And then if we get a chance to go to the ACC tournament, that's a new season for us. And that's how we're going to approach it. And, you know, we want to be in the ACC tournament because at the end of the day, you know, we feel like, you know, we still can play some basketball and we still going to compete. And, you know, when you start breaking down the games, you know, we were in a lot of games. We lost a lot of games that we had control of and got away from us late. So, you know, we feel confident, you know. But at the end of the day right now, we got to get ready for our next opponent and finish out the season. And then, you know, if we get to the ACC tournament, we'll go from there.
Adrian, when the team has struggled this season and, you know, lost that last game against Devo, what did you think of your team's response in the second half on NC State time?
I thought we responded well. I really did. Obviously, I think, I think we slowed it down and we got, I kind of wanted to slow them down and continue to put pressure on the rim. We were in the bonus early. So I thought we did a good job of that. I think this team has been through, we've been in these situations before. And I think, especially the last game, I think they really had a lot of resolve. Even coming through the timeout, when I called the timeout and coming back out, like they were calm. They knew what we needed to do.
Coach, just the offensive flow that you wanted with the inside-outside game, and what's made Eddie so successful?
I think Eddie's a hard worker. I think we've gotten the ball to him a little bit more. I think obviously JJ commands a lot of attention when he's on the ball. So we've gotten the ball to him in good situations. Even when he's been rolling, the lane has been open for him to kind of dribble in there. And then we've gotten the ball to him and we played to him. I thought we did a really good job. We didn't get seduced in taking a lot of threes today. When we found out we had a lot of success, 46 points in the paint. That was, they were looking for it and they were looking to attack. We knew we were in a bonus. So I just thought we played a really good, clean offensive game today.
Coach, how important was the physicality of Davis and getting on the interior on offense?
I thought that was really big. I thought in the first half it was a moment where they called those fouls early. I think Jair and Eddie did a good job of kind of holding their ground and not backing down. And I thought that kind of set the tone for those big guys. Jair, and I think it kind of got them going, and they're not going to back down. So I thought that was really important.
Coach, what did Naheem and Pitar give you defensively?
I thought Naheem and Pitar gave us great minutes. I thought Naheem really gave us good minutes. I thought him and JC, they had a really good two-man game, for that short period of time. But, Naheem, he's a big target, rolling to the basket. And I thought JC had a lot of patience, and we got it to him right where he needed it. Either it was high or he was alone under the basket, and he finished. And Peter, he does all the little things that don't show up in stat sheets. He can move the ball, he can pass the ball. Unfortunately, today he had 2 careless turnovers. But typically, he just does all the dirty stuff that you needed, that doesn't show up on the stat sheets that you need to have to win.
Time for one more. JJ didn't really see him before in the first half. What changed for him in the second?
I think JJ really played he let the game come to him. I don't think he forced it. I thought, in the first half we had some success. I thought he really kind of, played within what we were doing. And then at the end of the game, he took it over like the best player is supposed to. That was really, how I saw it. I don't think he was out of it. And then he had 2 fouls too, so we took him out. But I just thought he let the game come to him today.
Thank you.
He's getting close. We hope, fingers crossed, that he'll be able to play on Saturday, but he's getting close to a return.
All right, that's Coach Autry after this one. Last question there about Elijah Moore and his status, and hoping that he can return for Saturday at Virginia Tech. That'll be the next game for the Orange. Actually, another pretty winnable game when you consider what the Virginia Tech has been this year. Elijah Moore now missed his 2nd straight game and was on the bench. He's dealing with a toe injury, but we welcome you back in on our post-game show here. 315-437-7644 is the phone number to call. We got a special edition of the post-game show with Etan Thomas and Eric Devendorf on with us tonight. And Etan, anything stand out there from Red's comments? He touched on how McLeod had a nice game here, and I think that was one thing that stood out to a lot of our chatters here. In the first half, McLeod got in there, and Red said it. He had a good 2-man game there with Jaquan Carlos in the first half.
Yeah, he definitely did. And, it's just, we talk so much about rim protecting and our lack of rim protecting, throughout the season. So I definitely like to see him play more. But this is one you have to keep the momentum going. You know what I mean? We have definitely a winnable game coming up next. Like Coach said, we want to play in the ACC tournament. He talked about the 3 seasons, and, that doesn't sound like a team that is ready to throw in the towel. Of course, that this season didn't go the way that everybody wants it to go. We don't want to have another season like this where we're playing for the ACC tournament. We can all be very clear about that and very honest about that. That's not what we want. But this is where we are right now. So it's about, finishing with pride. And I don't expect for anybody that puts on a Syracuse uniform to ever roll over or just, mail it in or give up. That's just not Syracuse basketball. So in any situation, they're going to keep fighting. So I'm happy to hear that type of energy from the coaching staff and from the players as well.
Devo, just looking at the box score here, and we were touching on this as we were watching the game, but they were getting it inside a lot to Lampkin and Davis. Only attempted 8 threes in this game. Actually, only 2 3-pointers attempted in the second half for Syracuse. But you end up with Davis 5 for 7, Lampkin 5 for 7 from the floor, and then Starling rocking the headband for the first time really got it going in the second half. So it felt like Syracuse's game plan was get it inside, and they were comfortable with NC State shooting some threes as well.
Well, that was the most efficient basketball that they could play. And he said they got 46 points in the paint. They only shot 8 threes. They shot nearly 60% from the field. I mean, you saw during the game, Eddie really had his way when he got the ball, just bullying down. Same thing with Jair Davis. And then, late in the second half, mid in the second half, or midway, JJ started attacking the rim. But when you have the advantage, when you can get by your defender, that's what you should do. You shouldn't go to shooting threes when you can get by the guy, or you have the advantage in the post. And it was good to see other guys contribute. You had 3 guys in double figures, but had 6 other guys or 5 other guys score the basketball. And North Carolina State, they didn't shoot the ball well, but you want to attribute some of that to the Syracuse defense. I mean, it wasn't a outstanding defensive showing, but they did enough to where they could win the game by 14 points. And I mean, North Carolina State just came off a win at Wake Forest. Beating Wake Forest, which is a team that's still fighting to try to get into the NCAA tournament. But to E's point, they're going to continue to go out there and compete and play with pride. And I think that's the overall, statement you got from what Red was talking about. These guys are going to still go out there and compete and try to win games. And I mean, he's right. NC State did it last year. They were one of the worst teams in the ACC in conference play last season, and they came in and not only won the ACC tournament, but they went all the way to the Final Four. So I'm not saying the Syracuse team is going to go all the way to the Final Four, but once you get into the ACC tournament, it is a new season, and anything could happen. But I think going in, you want to be playing well, right? So you build off this win. Like E says, you go to Virginia Tech. It's a very winnable game. And then you play SMU at SMU, which is going to be tough. And then you come back home against a Virginia team, which is
very winnable.
Very winnable. We're favored. And so the biggest thing is you want to go into the ACC tournament playing well.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is that they're going into the ACC tournament, it seems like now. If you had lost this game, you're probably not playing in the ACC tournament, and you're staring up at your last 3 games and needing to do maybe win 2 of the last 3. Now you're in a much better spot to make the ACC tournament. We know Miami's not going to the ACC tournament, and honestly, NC State is in a tough spot to make it now after losing that game today inside the Dome. So 74-60, the final score. Phone lines are open the rest of the way. 315-437-7644 is the phone number to call. We'll take a timeout. Back with more with Etan Thomas and Eric Devendorf on our Burdick postgame show. And we just heard from Red Otcher. That's always brought to you by RomanoCars.com. So your phone call could be next after this timeout at 4 ESPN 44. We're back after this on QSportsTalk.com and ESPN Radio.
9, they need to make a wall of donors.
Let me ask y'all this. Did y'all see, I was looking at this this thing with, can y'all hear me?
No, I got you. Yeah.
Okay. I was looking at this thing with NC State's the women's team's coach, Wes Moore. And it was after the game. They played Notre Dame. And after the game, he took a picture with this fan, and the fan had this big sign that said, Angel Reese stinks.
Oh, I didn't.
And I was looking at it. I was like, does Angel Reese have any kind of connection to NC State or Notre Dame? And
it was just a random Angel Reese sign?
It was a random Angel Reese sign. And the coach was sitting there posing, Wes Moore next to it. And they was posing in chair. And I was looking, I was like, okay, well, maybe he didn't know what the sign said. You know what I mean? But he didn't.
Yeah, that's weird.
Or anything like
Especially
that.
Especially because NC State, I mean, they've been good. They've got a good fan base and women. They have a lot of stars on their team to talk about, so I don't know why they.
Right, that was it was kind of weird. I was like,
I know she was from Maryland, Reese, but she never had any ties to NC, so that's odd. That was a big win for them, though.
I didn't even hear what happened.
He said that NC State beat Notre Dame who's was number one in double overtime, and Wes Moore, their head coach, was taking a photo after the game, which is some random fan that had a sign that said Angel Reese. That's all it said, right?
No, it said Angel Reese stinks.
Stinks. Oh,
Why would he do that?
I don't know. That's my point. Like, why would what?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even hear that. I thought it just
the
said
sign said Angel Reese stinks, and Wes Moore sitting there just posing with the fan, and they're smiling. I'm looking at it, and I saw some people commenting on social media, like, why would he do that? Like, why is she?
Yeah.
Why she has no connection to NC State
Maybe he
or
didn't.
to
Yeah.
the ACC or anything like that. And it was random. I don't know. Y'all didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
I
was like, man.
Has he been the coach there for a while?
Yeah, a good time. I mean, he was at, I think, Chattanooga or somewhere before, but, he's probably 15 years or something.
So he didn't play against, like, LSU or anything?
No.
Yeah, so that's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird behavior.
They played against LSU this year, but not Angel Reese, yeah.
A grown man to do that?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, maybe to your point, you just didn't know what was on the sign, because that's just so...
I'll go with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope. Right.
Well, I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, anything could be on that side.
Anything, right?
Yeah, right.
You know,
you got to be smarter than that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'll put some respect on this barbecue because
Someone
is banging.
Trying to figure out. Cuse Sports Nora, what was your take on practice? I'm trying to. Does my prediction?
You see that in the chat, E? They said, who's the best center you played against in the league?
In the NBA?
Yeah.
No, Shaq.
Oh, that's what they said. Yeah.
Did you guarded him a lot of times?
I did my best.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. That was when he was in his prime.
Right.
Man, come on, man. Shaq, honestly, Shaq could have hurt everybody in the league if he wanted to. He was just a nice guy.
Yeah.
You would see little glimpses of it when he would get upset, and he'd be like, "Ooh," you know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, we don't want them problems. He was just a mammoth of a human being. Like it. Yeah.
Cuse Sports Nora was saying he was here and practice was going really well. I mean, you guys weren't at practice or anything, but
nah.
Sure, I'm sure they weren't lying if they said that.
I remember Shaq dunked on Chris Dudley, so disrespectful.
Oh, that was so disrespectful.
and then basically landed on him.
Yeah, pushed him.
And then
and then
just gave him a little push. I'm like, oh man, that's disrespectful, man. Chris Dudley threw the ball at him.
Yeah, but LJ kind of fake held Dudley back like Dudley was going to, so he was kind of laughing while he was holding it back.
Nothing was going to happen.
Played very well.
I would have did something too. E. I had.
All right, coming back.
This is the Burdick Lexus and Burdick BMW postgame show.
Welcome back in on the postgame show. Orange win it tonight over NC State in a must-win game for their ACC tournament hopes. Now, see if the Cuse can maybe get on a little bit of a run and try and salvage what is left of the season, go into the ACC tournament with some momentum. NC State still winless on the road this year, and Syracuse pretty much dominated them from start to finish. 74-60, the final score. Tim Leonard here with the Ton Thomas and Eric Devendorf as well. We're welcoming your phone calls, 315-437-7644. It's amazing. I think we do have a caller that's about to hop on here, Devo, but, by now, usually after a loss, there's like 4 or 5 calls. But,
right.
After a win like this, not a ton of calls coming in right now, but anything else stand out to you from what we watched here? And, I think it's going to be interesting now. How does the team look Saturday at Virginia Tech? Because I seen some comments in the chat, like NC State just missed open shots tonight. And Red even said that in the postgame. He was like, some of it is they just missed shots. But Syracuse held them to 60 points, so that's about as good of a defensive performance as we've seen from them.
Well, we got to try to figure out how to get North Carolina State on the schedule even more.
Yeah. Right. They swept them last year in the regular season, and then ACC tournament was actually the start of their run, the first game of the ACC tournament. But yeah, that'd be nice. They don't have very many shooters out there.
And look, they're going into Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech they're tricky. Like, because they've won some games, and then they went to Boston College and had 11 points in the first half. So but Mike Young he's a really good coach, man. They don't have a lot of talent, but he's done a good job of getting the best out of them that he can. But you know what? If they played how they do today, I think they got to attack the paint. They got to play off Eddie, and then if they can play off Eddie, they start to double. Then the guards can play off the long closeouts. Hopefully they're able to knock down some open jump shots. But I think today it was a good game plan, just attacking the paint, like getting in the paint, trying to draw fouls, like shrinking the defense, and that's when really, Chris Bell, if they could get the defense to collapse, now you have him getting in the game, knocking down shots. But honestly, if we can, and we, it's been tough all year, you want to try to get out and play fast and get in transition, like just to get yourself going a little bit, because I don't care who you are. You don't want to have to play against a set defense in half court every single time down the floor.
And that's what Red has said when he took the job. He wanted his teams to get back to old Cuse way of getting up and down. They had 11 transition points. NC State had 0 fast break points in this game. And, that's good on the defensive end. But Syracuse, again, 6 steals. Like, that's right about what they've been getting each game. They just don't get enough steals to really get out and run.
Well, just the makeup, too, that we have. We don't really have a team that's made up to play in the half court every single time. You want to try to get up and get some easy transition buckets, but you have to be able to rebound the ball, which we've been doing pretty good all season, rebound the basketball, but we haven't really been creating turnovers and getting out and playing fast. But I think they did a great job attacking the paint, and you want to continue that going into Virginia Tech.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the phone lines for the first time tonight. 315-437-7644 is the phone number to call. If you have thoughts after this one, Tim Leonard with Eric Devendorf and Etan Thomas after the Orange's victory over NC State. And let's check in with Chris, who is in cardiac Chris. That's what I see on the screener. So I don't know what that means, Chris. Maybe you can tell us, but what are your thoughts after this one? Oh, is Chris gone? Chris, you got us?
No, Chris, I'm right here. There you go. Cardiac Cuse. I'm cardiac Chris.
Cuse. Okay. All right. I got you.
There we go, babe. Devo, I just wanted to touch on something that you laid down before about, NC State and the run they made last year coming into the tournament. And, we have one of our guys kind of with that same attitude that DJ Burns came in with. And, when you see what Lampkin did, I think he only had 2 assists today, but we've got our own guy that can make that same run that NC State made. And I think I might have asked Brian last week about the record that they had going into the tournament, because you see those small glimpses of what that team did and what Syracuse is actually capable of doing this year. So, Devo, I want to actually shout you out real quick. Back when you had the greatest game of all time, 7 overtimes, I was in the hospital recouping from an awful accident.
Six.
Six overtimes. You got me through it, and I just wanted to always tell you that. And now that I have the chance, I wanted to say thank you, brother.
I appreciate the love, man. That means a lot.
Cardiac Chris out. Thank you, fellas.
Cardiac Chris is out. All right. Anything on that, Devo? And by the way, NC State was 17-14, 9-11 in conference play at the end of the regular season last year.
They had guys step up that weren't playing like that in the regular season. Like O'Connell came in, just had an unbelievable ACC tournament. He was averaging I don't know what he was averaging, single digits in the regular season. Then he averaged we had games where he had 20 plus. If Cuse wants to do that, JJ has to play really good. Eddie does, and then guys like Chris Bell, Lucas Taylor, they just have to have other guys step up and play out of their mind. Like it just has to go to another level. And then defensively, they have to be able to lock in and get stops. It's just this whole year it's just been sporadic defensively, letting guys get into the paint, and then that just creates open shots on the perimeter. So if they want to make that run that NC State made, guys who have been averaging single digits points, they have to go off and get 15 to 20 or just have games that they haven't been having. Other guys have to step up.
Tom, what did you make of the defense tonight? Was it a market improvement, or was it just kind of NC State's not a very good offensive team?
I mean, maybe a mixture of both. You know what I mean? You say a little bit of both.
Right.
But one of the things that, just to your point before, E, as far as attacking, I liked seeing us attacking a little bit more how we did tonight. I like seeing that. Jair attacking from every time that he touched it, he's looking in attack mode. And I like him doing that. There's some times where Jair doesn't play as much, And I know some of the fans kind of scratch their head. I scratch my head as well sometimes. But he has to be able to do the things that coach wants him to do defensively so that we can see that Jair offensively. So if coach is telling him the reason why you're not playing sometimes is because of defensive end, that means that you got to lock in and do whatever it is that coach is saying. So it means an early rotation, making sure you get out of the box out, make it whatever it is that coach wants, because that Jair who is that aggressive on the offensive end, we need that. You know what I mean? So for them to make a run, we need all those different elements of guys playing to the best of their capability at a very high level.
Yeah, it seemed like they liked the matchup that Davis had a lot tonight. They kept going to him, especially in the second half, and he did play one of his better games in recent memory tonight. Let's keep the phone calls coming. Let's check in with Sean, who is in Cicero. Sean, what's up, and what's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to bounce off the previous caller. I mean, I think that if Syracuse is going to do anything, they're going to have to bring the game to the inside. I mean, tonight was just astounding. I mean, they got it inside. Lampkin was at the rim. He wasn't doing those stupid hook shots from 4 feet out where he's missing them. You know what I mean? Because sometimes he gets into that mode where he forces that shot. Tonight he was right there. They had him open. They had him shift into the middle. They played really great, and I think that that's going to open up other stuff where you're going to see Bell, where they're going to start if they can, if they do it and stay with it, to drive to the middle of the lane, and they swarm to the middle of the lane because Lampkin's been doing everything. You know, everybody, Jair, everybody's been doing great in the middle, and they swallow in. That's when Bell's going to, turn it up, or AJ will turn it up. I think that we have a decent point guard, makes some mistakes, just got to slow down a little bit, but I think he's a decent point guard. And then kick it out. You establish that inside game like they did tonight. I mean, Jair played awesome tonight.
Yeah.
Where's that been all season?
Yeah, I appreciate you checking in, Sean. I mean, I think some of it, and Etan, let me know if you disagree on this. I think Eddie he's been great pretty consistently in ACC play. Some of it is just it felt like Davis had a better matchup tonight, right? I mean, it doesn't feel like NC State had a ton of bigs to throw at Syracuse, and I think that was the game plan, and Red pretty much said as much after the game. Let's get it inside and work inside out, maybe.
I think one of the things I like that Red said also is that when you see something that's working, to really exploit it. And that's something that, I would like to see more. If you see the bigs going, you see Jair really, really, going like he was tonight, to really keep going to him. You know what I mean? Until they figure it out. And then that is when you see they're going to collapse, and then you're going to have other people open up, just like the caller said, just like he said. So, I think that was a great theory.
All right, let's keep the phone calls coming before we hit our next break. Let's check in with Jake, who is in Ithaca. And Jake, what's on your mind after this one?
Hey, Etan, I'm wondering if you're going to be on Boeheim's Army this summer, or if you're going to be a big man coach next season. We could really use you, man. Either or. But I got a question on this mysterious $20.5 million NIL thing. Does that go to, Syracuse has a football team, but St. John's doesn't? So does 20.5 go straight to their basketball team? Because you can pick up Louis Carnesecca like Bernie, Weekend at Bernie's, put him on the bench, and they'd make the Sweet 16 with all that NIL. So I'm kind of wondering, how
it's
that
not
works.
NIL. It's revenue sharing, Jake. It's coming from the school. A lot to get to there. Etan, first off, I know he's gone. He just wanted to hang up and listen. Etan,
I love that call, though.
I don't know if you've got enough in you to play for Boeheim's Army. Do you have anything to say to that?
No, I'm too old now.
Yeah. I figured.
I'm just cheering them on. You know what I mean? We might come to some of the games and everything like that. Me and E keep doing our thing, but as far as playing, them days are over.
I was gonna say, Devo, you milked the Boeheim's Army as long as you could. I think you got your dub, and it was a good ride. But
I'm good. I was there from the beginning.
You were,
7 years, and we won one. I'm good. I hope the best for him, but. The weekend at Bernie's, what a great
Good line, right?
Yeah. This is why we got to get you guys on the post-game show more. You never know what the callers are saying late night here. I mean, we're almost at 10 p.m. Who knows what's inspiring some of these phone calls at this point in the evening.
Exactly.
But we'll leave it at that. All right, well, if you want to chime in and ask a question that's maybe a more serious question to Devo or Etan, you can do that after our next break here. 315-437-7644 is the phone number to call. We'll be back with more of our Burdick postgame show after this on QSportsTalk.com and ESPN Radio.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's. Didn't have that popping up.
Pat's nowhere to be found tonight, or what?
Yeah, where is Pat?
Not even in the chat.
Too easy of a win. Carlos played too good.
Well, Pat be showing up, having a lot to say.
You're a fan, dude. You can't just pick the negative.
No, I'm gonna try and bait him. Just keep saying stuff. I'm sure he's listening somehow, some way, even though usually we see him. All right, here we go. Serious question for Etan. Can we please hear some of your Vodtech or SMU analysis in the form of slam poetry / spoken word?
What?
I thought it was an actual serious question. I got excited. Is it Etan? Oh, I got it. Yeah. Sorry.
We couldn't hear you
down again. I'm screwing it up. Yeah, I got you now. What were you saying? Sorry.
No, I was just laughing at what he said.
Yeah. That was funny. Oh, here's Pat. Just got home from officiating Fulton buzzer beater. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Sectionals are tonight, huh? Or is it sectionals, Pat? Patty Ice the GOAT, Cuse caller.
Gavin Doty out there.
He's having a good year.
He is, yeah.
Doty, he
plays hard.
Yeah, he does play hard. He's having a real good year.
Zach wants to know if you're going to be the next head coach for Boeheim's Army this summer. Devo?
No.
Quick though. Dang.
That's it.
Did y'all see that half-court shot that Michigan State beat Maryland on?
No, I didn't. Tonight, or was it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh, you said Michigan State?
Mm-hmm.
I like the one kid from Maryland, though, E. What's his
big fella?
What's his name?
You talking about the big fella?
He could play, man.
Yeah, he's good.
I mean, he's out of there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an NBA guy. I tell you what, Tom Izzo always gets his guys to play hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might.
Magic, you see what Magic was saying earlier
with the NIL?
Unlimited.
Yeah.
Unlimited. He said, whatever you guys need, just let me know.
Yeah.
Pat, the recap is they scored a lot inside. There wasn't a ton, really. Everyone kind of pretty balanced team win. Starling didn't do anything in the first half. Came alive in the second half, but they didn't really need him in the first half either.
Alex Martin, what you know about Bay City, man? Yeah, I see you. That's it. Bay City, Michigan, baby.
Who was your toughest guy to guard, Devo? If Shaq was Etan's, they're wondering.
We played zone.
You shut down James Harden, right? In the
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, the zone shut him down.
Yeah, I guess we could say that. I guess we could say that. Overseas, you know who was tough I played against, and he's from I think he's from Baltimore. Malcolm is it Malcolm Delaney?
Malcolm Delaney. Yeah, I know that is.
Went to VTech. He was tough, man. I played against him overseas.
Yeah.
Answer the question, Devo.
He was waiting on you to answer that, which you just did. Yeah. Pat, did you get chased out of the gym? All right, final segment here, guys, so we can... there's no callers right now, but we'll see if anyone sneaks in another call.
Was there NIL, what I said? Absolutely, dude.
Oh, that question.
Yeah, if there's NIL when Yeah. Absolutely, I would have thought about it.
You would have been like Armando Baycott. They would have.
Oh, smart man. He's setting up. No, he's set up.
We're good, Mike. Thanks.
This is the Burdick Lexus and Burdick BMW postgame show.
Final segment on the postgame show. Welcome back in. Orange win it from start to finish tonight in the must-win game for the ACC tournament bubble. NC State and Syracuse, the Orange over the Wolfpack by 14, 74-60 the final score. Guess it got like a little hairy at one point in the second half, but this is pretty much a no-doubter from like 5 minutes into this game. Syracuse had this one in the bag. We are taking phone calls here in our final segment. If you call right now, we can work you in at 315-437-7644, or that's 4ESPN44. Tim Leonard with the Ton Thomas and Eric Devendorf. This is their weekly Etan and Devo show. We got a special edition of the postgame show here, and the chatters are having fun with you guys. We're asking away in the chat during the breaks here, and I guess let's turn our attention a little bit maybe to what's next for Syracuse. And we've hit on it a little bit, Devo, but Virginia Tech on Saturday, a road game, and looking at the projections right now, it's on KenPom, Virginia Tech's favored by 2 points in that game. So, I mean, that's another very winnable game, really, for Syracuse.
Well, look, we're watching Virginia Wake Forest right now, and Virginia's beating them by 5 at halftime.
It's like Wake doesn't want to make the tournament. Yeah,
and North Carolina State, they just beat Wake. You know,
Yeah.
So I mean, the ACC is weird this year. I mean, it is down. It is down. It seems like besides Duke, Clemson, Louisville, anyone can really beat anyone. You know, so you just got to be ready to play. I think, like, and to E's point, what he was talking about, attacking the paint, you just have to be aggressive. You can't play basketball hesitant.
Right.
You know, if you're going to make a mistake, do it being aggressive. You know, you want to try to put pressure on the defense and make them react, right? So now you're putting the pressure on them. Now they have a decision to make. Am I going to be aggressive back, or am I going to be soft? So that's what they did tonight. They set the tone by being aggressive. You know, the first one, usually who throws the first punch, usually, going forward in the game has a better game. So I think if they could set the tone, being aggressive, getting into the paint or getting the ball into Eddie, I really like what Jair did today. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate things. Like, if you see a matchup that you could attack it, right? And then if you could, and then you play off that, right? So just for Syracuse, be aggressive. Don't be hesitant. You know, try to create some turnovers and get out and play fast. But the biggest thing is be aggressive and play off your aggression.
Yeah. All right, we got one more phone call, and Pat had to sneak in before the tag. I don't even think Pat watched the game, but the GOAT Cuse caller is not gonna let a post game show go without getting in. So Pat, you're on with Etan and Devo. What's up?
Yeah, I had to call in, because first time these two Cuse legends were double teamed on a post game.
Yeah,
I mean you usually have to deal with Pauly. I mean there can't be much worse than that.
It is a big upgrade. I'll agree with you on that one for sure.
Yeah, I mean we go from Pauly, who wants to go home, and then these guys are, we're talking all kinds of stuff. No, the only thing I have for the two obviously isn't about the game, but just looking at the season and the roster, and obviously the biggest weakness is overall the defense stinks. So let me ask you guys, with the personnel, if you had the keys to the car, I mean, aren't you going with a zone lineup more throughout the year? I'm not saying like more than 20%, but Lampkin might be a better zone guy, even though he can't cover the corner, but he's not good in the pick and roll. You have Carlos, who's not a good defender either, but I think Bell and Jair, I don't know. I just feel like we would have been better off this year with this lineup. Starling at the 1, Taylor at the 2. Now you got a big zone up top. Then you have Bell on one side. You would have had Freeman until he got hurt on the other, and then you rotate the 2 centers in, and you play some zone. I mean, I can't believe that you guys aren't going to think that was a better defense than what we've seen all year.
Well, let me take this one. I would say that it would depend on who you're playing against. It's hard. So now
that's fair.
the game is a little bit different than it was back when both me and E were playing. So you have more guys that are able to shoot 3-pointers. So, I mean, I would love to see McLeod in the middle of the zone. I think he would be a rim protector. I think he would be great in it. But when you have fives that are shooting threes, you know what I mean? I don't think he would be moving out, trying to guard the 3-point line from the corner to corner the way that Boeheim tried to start doing there towards the end of his tenure. I think that you'd have to mix it up. I don't think you could play just zone all the time in this day and age. That's my personal opinion.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I've always been an advocate of mixing it up. The only thing I'm saying is our defense was so historically bad that I can't believe that we didn't try that, and that's a concern. If it ain't, Boeheim used to always say, if it ain't broke, it's not a science experiment. This was broke,
Yeah, I think they did try it. There was a good stat on the broadcast from Mike Monaco, who was calling the game. He said 7% of the time this year they've used zone. I think the Cal game was one where that was one of the better wins of the season, and they went to zone, and it worked well. But to Etan's point, it's matchup based, right? And yes. I don't think they're going to be some team that's bad in man-to-man and then just very good in zone. A lot of the same principles apply.
I'm talking about Bell, really. I'm really talking about Bell is a perfect zone and a lousy man guy. I don't think he'd be great in the zone, but I think he'd be better with his length. And then you got McLeod. And then if you had Freeman, that would have been a really good zone because Freeman wasn't a good on-the-ball defender either. So, I just don't understand how these coaches can see these guys for all these months and never and think they're going to be even a respectable man-to-man team. It just wasn't in the cards. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, Pat,
guys,
in the zone, you still have to be active and you have to be moving. So Chris Bell, he would still have to be moving and be active because if not, they're going to get wide open threes, right? And same thing with McLeod in the middle. And then again, we've been really good rebounding the basketball. So if we played zone all year, how good would we be rebounding the basketball now? Now it's a whole other problem. You're coming with second chance points and giving team extra possessions, and the best time to get threes is off offensive rebound. So I'm playing devil's advocate, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot of different situations you could look at. But to E's point, I think it is matchup based, right? It's just if you're playing against a Louisville team. Yeah. With Moraine Smith, one of the best shooters in the country, you're not going to play zone
at all,
right? And it's just look.
Think about how many people didn't want them to be playing zone at the end of the Bay.
Yeah.
And I know you're just saying mix it up, Pat. And I think there's something to be said for that. Also, they went to zone out of NC State went on a little bit of run in the second half. I know you didn't watch the game, but Etan and Devo obviously we're going to remember this. And there was a little bit of a zone spurt there, and NC State was actually scoring against the zone. And you and I were watching and saying, let's just go back to the man. They scored, 20 points in the first half or 23 or something. So it wasn't really – this wasn't the team, I don't think, to go zone, and it just depends on the matchup.
I'll leave you with this. If I knew Devo was on the broadcast, I would have had to have the headset on in disguise, and I would have had to listen to Devo.
Well, you were reffing, right?
Thanks, guys.
Okay, there goes Pat. Anything else to add on that, Etan, and sort of the idea of how much zone is good for this team?
Yeah, I understand what he's saying. But listen, here's the bottom line: is that when you're not having that great of a season, when you're losing games, you try to look for anything else that was different, that you could have done differently. And that's just what should be expected. I think that, a lot of the criticism that I've heard was how much Red changed up the starting lineup. But I'm like, well, what else is he supposed to do? If he would have just went with the same exact lineup the whole time and then never changed anything, then fans would have been criticizing that he didn't make any adjustments. So I understand looking at, we could have done this. Could we have maybe pressed a little bit more? Maybe could have had the offense be a little bit more. That's what you're supposed to do when you lose. See what difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not, it's easy for us to talk about it as far as what tweaks could have been made. It's a little bit harder when you're sitting there trying to actually implement those things as coaches. So that's one thing that's important for fans to just really understand. It's easy for us to talk about it. They ain't looking at it from the outside.
Right.
It's really easy to do that, but. We're definitely going to have to, like I said, nobody wants to be in this position anymore. So, but for right now, let's root the guys on. Let's still support them. Let's still, they're not giving up. I would be disappointed if they did give up. I would be disappointed if they did just lay down and say, okay, this season is horrible and we don't even want to play anymore. And what we saw tonight was the opposite. We saw NC State come in and really just run us off the floor. You know what I mean? For it to never have been a game or anything like that. That would have disappointed me, as a Syracuse alumni. So, I'm glad that they're fighting all the way through, and you can have pride in that.
Yeah, I thought the start of the game tonight was going to pretty much tell us what was going to happen in the game. And, after a week off, I think NC State is playing their best basketball of the season coming in. You were wondering, NC State has gotten off to some really good starts in recent games, and they jumped on Wake Forest and jumped on another team, I'm forgetting, in one of their recent wins. They had won 2 of the last 3 games before this. So it was good to see that they came out and played with urgency right from the jump tonight because, frankly, there's no excuse in a game like this that meant a lot. But they did it right from the jump, and now we'll see what they can do if they can build on it as far as the Virginia Tech game. And, there's still a lot on the line for these guys, and they're still playing hard. And I think, Etan, your point is well taken. Like, there's no reason to be mad at the kids right now that they're playing hard all throughout the season. This team has gotten better, so if anything, just support them. And I get it's been a frustrating season for the fans, but let's try and make the most of what is left. I mean, you can't go back and change the results that already happened.
And it's been a tough winter.
It's added up.
It's been a heavy winter out here, so I get it. You guys are in the house. You want to see some more wins. I get that, all right? But like he said, you got to continue to support your team and continue to support your guys. And look, these guys – they read all of that stuff, man. So it's weighing a lot on their mind, too. Like, they don't want to go out there and play bad, So you just want to try to give them as much positivity as you can, especially, when they're going through this type of year.
Yeah. All right, Etan, anything else from you? I know you guys will be back next week, I'm sure, with your show on, Monday morning? Is that the plan next week?
I think we're going to have to go Tuesday.
Tuesday morning?
Yeah.
All right. So, Etan, any last words here before we wrap up the postgame show?
No, just keep supporting the team. You know what I mean? When you have your home team, when, you have love for them from the ups and the downs, and you're not just a front runner. You're not just going to come out and, wear your Syracuse gear and hoot and holler and everything like that only when things are going well. That's not a real fan. A real fan is going to support them even when things are down and encourage them and then look forward to, the next season, but you're still going to end the season with pride. So I would just call on all the fans to just be real fans.
Yeah. Well said. All right, so Etan and Devo are with us next week. They'll get back to their normal weekly show in the morning on Tuesday. You can always watch that on CuseSportsTalk.com or on the Cuse Sports Talk YouTube page and listen on these airwaves as well. We'll have our full slate of shows tomorrow, per usual, starting with Orange Nation from 12 to 2. But thanks to everyone on CuseSportsTalk.com tonight in the chat. Thanks to all the callers as well. Thanks to Mike out there, who was working behind the scenes, and we will talk to you next time after the Orange win this one 74-60. They are looking very good now at making the ACC tournament, hopefully giving us some more games and some more post-game shows in the future. And they'll be on the road Saturday against Virginia Tech. Until then, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on CuseSportsTalk.com and ESPN Radio.
The 315.